Ever since week 5, when DJ Reader went down on IR, you've had Mike Daniels and Christian Covington be the starters at defensive tackle. One of them at the 3 technique spot, which is where Christian Covington is. One of them at the 2I spot, which is where Mike Daniels is. They've rotated between those spots too, so they're not always at these alignments. But on this play specifically, you have Mike Daniels as the 2I, and he's going to be 2-gapping here. So he has responsibilities for this A gap and this B gap. The Steelers are going to run away from Daniels here, but Daniels does a great job of resetting the line of scrimmage, coming off of his block, showing his color in both gaps, fulfilling those 2-gap responsibilities, but also disengaging from the block and making a play on the ball. As you can see, look at how he resets the line of scrimmage. Look at where the rest of the offensive linemen are relative to where the Bengals are, and look at where Mike Daniels is, pushing this guard back on what looks to be just like a zone play. And at first, he's showing leverage into this gap in case the Benny Snell cuts back for some reason, but Snell knows he has room to operate here towards his first read. Daniels follows the ball, crosses the face of the guard, disengages, collapses down, helps make a stop. So he's got the awareness and the intellectual responsibility to handle these 2-gap responsibilities, but also the strength and athleticism to come off the block and help make a play in the gap. So last play, Daniels was the 2I and he was 2-gapping. Now he's the 3 technique and he's 1-gapping into this B gap. And the responsibilities is just one, get upfield, attack. And that's exactly what he does here. The Steelers are going to run away from him again. Daniels is going to read the key of the left guard, signaling that it's a run to this side. And he's going to attack upfield, get lateral, do his best to chase down the ball carrier. Essentially, do his best Aaron Donald impersonation. He's not as fast or as quick or as much of an alien as Donald is, but he does a good job of lowering himself, making sure he's leveraging himself against his tackle's reach block to absorb it, come off of it clean. The tackle can't do anything unless he wants to get called for holding. Daniels does a good job of getting horizontal, chasing down the ball carrier as best as he can, reading his keys, being just that 1-gap attacker, and doing a good job of chasing down Benny Snell for the stop. Does a little hop step over him too. Let's check out Daniels as a pass rusher here, and keep in mind this is Margus Hunt now at the 2I position in for Christian Covington. So Daniels is at the 3 technique, and this move he's going to pull off, I don't really know the name of it. I don't know if there's a technical term for it, but I do know it requires a lot of balance and coordination with your footwork and your hands. Because he's going to spring after just 2 steps off of this outside foot and try to just cross the face of the guard to attack this A gap. While he's doing that, he's going to make sure that he keeps separation from the guard with just like a 2-handed jab. And so the guard can never really engage him and stop him from entering this gap. And even if Daniels doesn't really ever get in Roethlisberger's face and the guard maintains a half-man relationship between him and Daniels, I think that Daniels penetrating this gap with this move still hurries up Ben Roethlisberger's internal clock and forces him to look off of his first read and quickly go to his second. And when he's doing that, he's looking over towards the short side of the field. Margus Hunt is facing a double team. So if you can't get to the quarterback, make sure that you are somehow in his line of sight. That's exactly what he does. He gets that right arm up there and knocks the ball down. So a quick pass rushing move from Daniels, again, requires great synchronization and balance and athleticism. And if Daniels was a better athlete, maybe he can bend at the waist here and get under this guard's counter block and maybe gets a quarterback pressure or a hit on Roethlisberger. But instead, he just makes sure he gets into his face a little bit, gets presence into this gap, and then Hunt makes sure he does his job because he can't get home off the double team. So just get that hand up there. He's 6'10". It's a good play by them. Now we got Daniels at the 1 technique spot and Margus Hunt at the 3 technique spot. Let's go back to just resetting line of scrimmage as an attacking 1-gap player. And that's exactly what Daniels is going to do against Pro Bowl, quotation marks, center Maurkice Pouncey. Just maul him back into Benny Snell. Look at this. This is where the point of attack is. Steelers are doing a decent job of holding those guys back. Daniels is just pushing Pouncey back into Snell. And that really limits what Snell can do here as a back. It limits his vision. He's already leveraged too far to the outside of Pouncey's right shoulder. So he just has no choice but to really cut it back and almost go back into the backfield because, the Bengals are still maintaining good discipline in their run fits. And look at Marcus Hunt taking on a double team between the right tackle and right guard, disengaging off of that right guard and doing his best to force the play back. And now you have a bunch of force and spill players from the secondary filling in, making a stop behind the line of scrimmage, all because you have two guys, Daniels and Hunt, holding their own at the point of attack. Daniels resetting the line of scrimmage, really springing it all into action, and then Hunt disengaging from his block.